We're off on this.
And any time you can change the seat position, just get yourself comfy. Okay. And we've got a nice little camera, shows you where you're going when you go backwards. So what we'll do, we'll just shoot out in front of the kids.
Okay. We're going left here?
We're going left, yeah. And it's the low one of the two if you need the indicators.
Oh, is this the kiddie track?
Yeah, basically, I mean, this is sort of really what we call the familiarisation track. So it's just to get you a feel for a car that's probably a little bit different to what you normally drive. What do you normally drive, Gunnar? Something that can
Vauxhall, whatever it is. It all looks the same on the wheel to me. My wife actually has a turbocharged Vauxhall Zafira with 240 horsepower.
That's quite lively. Yeah.
She's a much better driver than I.
Do you want to get out in the 6 shelter now, Louise?
No, this is fine.
She says I'm a very unsmooth driver.
Very unsmooth.
So you're saying as you enter these corners in this, you shouldn't try to tighten it in too much.
Yeah, just approach from the outside.
Lead it back.
Then cut yourself in.
Yep.
That's it.
It
doesn't make too much sense around here because it's very narrow, very twisty. This is more just to get a feel for the gearbox, the controls. You find that the accelerator's a lot sharper than you'd be used to, and it's the same with the brakes. I mean, the brakes take a lot more energy than you'd think.
Are these ceramic brakes?
No, we've only got one car with the carbon ceramics, but the interesting thing for us was the first car we've had with them. In terms of the feel of the brakes and the speed at which the car brakes, makes absolutely no difference. The only difference is that the carbon ceramic brakes will withstand the heat a lot longer. But to be honest, for everything we do around here, the standard brakes from the AMGs are over-specified. They're more than you need anyway. So, to be honest, the standard brakes do fine. Unless you're doing 20 laps in the Nürburgring on your way home, don't worry about the carbon ceramic brakes.
My wife is from up there. She actually knew Schumacher when he was a young pup.
Oh, really?
They were in adjoining school systems. His parents had bought the local go-kart track.
Right.
And he would go out and do this all day long when he wasn't in school.
Kind of helps, yeah.
See, I get brake fade on the Subaru in under a lap on the Nürburgring.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's on the STI, and that's with upgraded brakes, because I had a standard WRX, and we changed the brakes on that. We've still got brake fade, and even on this one we're getting brake fade.
So now we're on the soft settings.
So we're on the soft on the suspension, but we're on the aggressive setting on the gearbox. So it's going to give you the sharper gearbox response. Yeah, you tend to find, I mean, the brakes on these, even around a track, and better on the heavy cars, are fine. You know, unless you are doing repeated laps of the Nordschleife, don't worry about it.
This is definitely one of our healthcare and biotech analysts behind the wheel on this. I can tell.
Well, do you know what? I had one of your environmental analysts, and
Barbara.
Oh, she was great.
Oh, she's a petrol.
Gosh, she's another Essex girl.
I kept telling her, you know, every time you put your foot down, there's a penguin that's slipping off its ice cap.
Somewhere there was a white Cortina in her past that was definitely souped up.
Yeah. Not old enough.
There's got to be. Let's take a left and a right. We'll let these guys carry on. Yeah, definitely, I was really impressed because she doesn't actually drive. She just comes in by train.
No, she's a city girl.
By bus. So yeah, she just lives in the city. So
yeah, she's lulling you into full sense of security. We come from the same village, and you grow up round there.
Whereabouts are you from in Essex?
A place called Great Dunmow.
Yeah, I know. Straight down. I used to race for a team based in Haverhill. So yeah, I kind of know that. The guy that ran it lived in Saffron Walden. So,
oh, good roads.
Yeah, lovely roads around there. Really nice, and they're quite flat, so you can see. It's absolutely brilliant. So let's take a right. Let's have a bit of a play out on the ice, and we'll just hold here. Let these guys crack on through, and then we'll let them drop away about half a circle away from us, and then we'll head on out. So again, we'll start off with all the systems on, and it's quite good actually because you had Louise going round. We'll let them recover themselves.
We'll get them from 9 o'clock to 12 o'clock.
That's it. Yeah. Another few hours.
That might be our. Trying to figure out. Well, you can never quite tell.
It's been quite interesting actually to see if you could tell from the way people drive exactly what sector they're in and what they do.
Well, I'm special situations. How does that figure?
Okay, special situations. So that was quite a special drive. So you put us in plenty of special situations. So there you go.
Okay,
that's it. So just start off, just build up your speed and have a little feel for how it changes. And you feel as the speed builds, so does the lightness. You've got exactly the same watch as Oliver.
Must have had a job like
that was my
things you noticed.
This is my 40th birthday present.
Fantastic.
So you're saying that when you do the steer into the skid.
That's it.
Okay, a second.
And you can feel the systems at this point helping you. So as the back of the car
If I aim for the Darlick here and give it a little power, then I should be able to turn right into it and keep it right on.
At the moment, not much going to happen because the electronics are on. But absolutely, just fix your focus on where you want to go.
So if you want to do the Tokyo drift thing, you just sort of keep it on, and you can hear the...
You can hear it work.
Well, and you can see the flashing light.
Yeah,
on it
you can
too.
see it just giving you
So
a bit
that's
of a
traction
warning.
control,
So-
basically.
and stability.
Yep.
Both of them working. Traction cutting the power, and what the stability is doing is putting the brakes on. So we'll just let them get away a little bit because they're looking on the ragged edge. But yeah, as the back end slides, basically it's putting the brakes on the outside front wheel, pushing the back end into line, just helping keep you stable. So yes, you're still having to do a little bit, but it's a lot less, as you found, than when we turn it all off. That's when it really does start to move. So let's give it a go. So let's turn it off, and we'll give you a little bit of a feel of the Tokyo drift stuff here. So a little tap of power. That's it. That's good. Yeah.
Yeehaw!
And then what will happen is you find that you're actually using more steering than power, which is what you need to do. I think the common misconception about drifting is that it's more about the power than it is about the steering. Really cool.
Wasted youth driving to and from ski slopes in a Volkswagen with very little weighting on the front and lots of weighting in the back.
Brilliant.
Let's get it.
That definitely helps. Yeah, we'll let them get away. But no, it's good practice, good feel.
A few more of these, and then I'd like to try the Louise Turner Smith Memorial.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we'll name it after you. That's it. So a little tap. That's it. Yeah, give it a little go.
And you're saying this is a silicon surface?
Yeah, it's a
That's
silicon
really
paint.
interesting.
Oh, really?
It's we actually get the paint from Austria. It's something they call Avatol, and it's basically a sort of silicon resin that you paint on, and then it sets to form a surface that's very, very smooth. And when you wet it, it gives us this kind of friction. So we might as well stop. We'll let them get away a little bit, and then you can have a bit more of a play.
You know, you guys really have this timed as a nice ballet because you really feel as though you can process a lot of people through the experience at the same time.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, the main thing is that, of course, that's it. You're all good. You can play away.
Okay, so now we're off.
So now we're off, and you've got some space.
So now if I want to...
That's it. So just
Tap it with a
tap
little
to
power.
get it going, that's it.
Right.
And then just keep the power going, but just steer, so bring it to the right. Keep your eyes on the inside white line. That's part of the reason why you're drifting to the outside, is I can see you looking to that outside line. So look a little bit more to the inside.
Okay, so I want to basically try to tag my wheel there.
That's it.
Wait a second.
And then just a little tap, break the traction. That's it. And that was just a bit too quick when you did it, and that's what pushed you out. So keep your speed a little bit lower. That's it. Good. Now a bit more power, keep the back end out. That's it. Now off the power, just let the weight do the work.
Oh yeah, feel that.
Now a little bit of power.
Yep.
That's it.
I'm with
And a
it.
bit of power. So you're literally just dabbing the power.
Yeah.
So all you
So
do
you're
is
just
trying to
kind of
hold a fixed speed. You're just dabbing
Oh, there we
as
go.
you go
Okay.
through.
I've got it.
That's it. And tap.
Tell me if you need the air sickness bag back there.
No, we're all good.
That's it. And you find the more speed you have, you've got too much speed, the car will push you out wide. Too little speed, it's going to tuck in tight. So just judge your speed. So if we're going in tight, keep the power on, that'll push you out.
Power,
If you're
power,
going
power.
too far out, off the power, and it'll
And let
tuck
the
in.
front wheels do the dragging
Look
with
at that,
that.
that's nice.
Yeah, that's it.
There we go. That's
good.
what I was
Oh.
after.
And you feel once you get it in the sweet spot,
Yep, you're
now
just-
you're literally just steering it round. And it's just practice from here on in. You've got the feel, you've just got to practice.
Right. One more. Rear end out.
That's it.
Keep my up a little too much. 1, 2, 3, back. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Trying to get the front line.
That's it,
Very
that's
cool.
nice. And that's working very nicely. And the E-Class is actually quite a nice blend of wheelbase and width. They're nice cars to drift, and we've got the locking differentials in these as well, which helps you out, so it's part of the AMG performance options.
Yep. That's my nemesis, that one corner there. There must be a little gravitational drift or something.
That must be it, yes. Extra especially slippery for you around there. That's good. So let's take a left. Let's have a go at the handling course. So system's now back on. We're going to go up past the other E63, and then we're going to take, so it's straight up that way, that's it, and then follow around to the left. That's perfect.
Matthew.
There we go.
Being very patient.
And then we'll take a left and a left again.
You know what? It's taking me longer to learn how to use the turn signal than it is to drive the car.
That's it. It takes a bit of getting used to. That's
okay.
it. And we'll head straight out.
There we go.
That's it. And just ease yourself into it. That's
I'm going
it.
to try to remember all your...
So first thing, first couple of laps, just get yourself a feel for it. AMG always say, when they were recruiting sports car drivers, if you can't learn the circuit in 5 laps, you can't drive for them. So that's it. So just always, I think it's worth taking a couple of laps, just get yourself a little bit of a feel, and then you can sort of start putting everything together. So knowing where you're going is pretty fundamental to what we're going to do. So it's so just getting a bit of a feel for the car as well, particularly the brakes. The brakes, because they're so big, as I say, even though they're non-ceramic, they're huge, over-specified brakes. We do take away some of the power assistance, so that's why you probably found that you have to brake harder than you expected to get the car to stop. It does take quite a bit of energy through the brake pedal to get the car slowing down, so it takes a little getting used to. That's good. And can you feel what we talked about with that change in the steering now?
Absolutely.
You can feel it communicating through the steering, and that's what people mean when they talk about a car that has good steering. They're talking about a car that essentially is communicating through the steering wheel exactly how much grip it's got.
Have everybody grabbing the internal handrails. So.
That's good.
But that's a good thing.
And then that will rum down.
And then it's auto shifting on the way down, which is the nice thing
That's fantastic.
on an auto, to actually have a car that downshifts for you. It's, as I say, you can use the manual option, but particularly when you're learning your way, it's quite nice to actually let the car do it for you. And the thing is with Sport Plus mode, particularly on the MCT box, is you might as well let it take the strain, because it's normally in the right gear at the right time. And I don't mind saying this on camera, I think you're pretty smooth actually. I think you're doing a pretty good job. That's good. You feel the front just
now
start to load.
Too tight here. I'm loading the front wheel on that.
That's it. And then brake to the corner, keep out wide, now cut in, hold your speed, and then out wide and feed in the power. That's it. Then bring it in tight, aiming in for that white cone as long as you're getting it picked up on. Just gives you a little reference point. And then away it goes. Good. And then get your braking out of the way before the corner. Off the brakes, ease the car in, and then as soon as the front end picks up grip, then feed in the power.
The first bike track day I ever did, they had left out the white corner codes for the cars from the day before. That's scary, that first session. They finally switched on and took them away.
Yeah, because you don't really want to be turning that late on a
bike.
bike.
Consciously paying attention to them, you know, just subconsciously they become a target.
Well, I think that's the problem, and I don't believe in putting cones out, which is why we don't really do it here. The cones are purely there just to give you something to, the corner's there, because on a road you'd have trees, lampposts, pavement. Here you've got nothing, so it's just to give you something to look at, which is why we've gone for the chevrons as well, to make it look like the road. What we wanted to do was go for the traditional black with the white chevron, but it wasn't really clear enough around here. So we did the inverse, but to give you that sort of road feel.
It's just a reference.
Yeah, it's just something to give you an idea, because particularly this corner you can't really see the way through it because you've got the barrier in the way. You need the chevrons to let you know. Now an interesting thing, certainly just speaking for the UK, what happens is the councils operate a reactive signage policy. So essentially they wait for an accident to happen and then they sign according to what happened for the accident.
Well, they wait till the death toll is high enough.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So what happens is every time someone goes off in a corner, they put up one of those chevrons in the hole they made in the hedge, figuring that you always hit the last thing you look at. So they figure that the chevron will be right in your line of vision to give you that warning that the corner's there. So where you see several, that means there's been several holes in the hedge.
Well, it's a lot cheaper, I suppose, than doing an awful lot of research.
But you know, you do definitely pick a line further out than you might normally think.
But can you feel that starting to feel? You said it was counterintuitive, but now you're actually driving it. You feel it's making a little bit more sense.
Well, you're not fighting with the steering as much either when you're coming through there.
Yeah, absolutely. Tango 18 to the E63 estate on North. Could we have a fly-by, please?
There's a spot.
That's it, yeah. There it is. That's going to be yes. There we go.
There we are.
Give him a little flash of the lights to say thank you. Hazards, thank you, thank you.
Okay. So now this is, if I take it tight, I'll do the other way on this one. If I take it tight on the reflectors here, you can really feel that it's fighting your...
You feel it, yeah. It's just wanting to push.
And you're down on here too. Brake, off the brake. Power on. Through the bottom.
That's it. And it just settles through. And it's surprising actually the traction you get through this bottom corner here.
It's really amazing. Because you can just swing right out there.
Absolutely.
Brake. Then on them early.
That's it. And then off.
Through the inside.
Settle it through.
This one you take right at the center.
This one I think I tend to sort of follow it out wide. Right out wide. Right. And then cut it in tight. That's it. Because it always starts to push a little bit as the corner hooks in. And if it does that, you feel that's put you in a bit early for that one. And it's pushing again at the mid-corner.
There's this one. Don't put the brake on that one.
But
take it tight.
That's nice, that's good. A little point of history actually, the runway area, that is actually the original Brooklands runway.
That's where they did all the
VC-10s and everything they used to fly from. But the original runway is actually the grass runway that is over to our left when we come through the back straight. So that area down on the left there, between the blue barriers and the trees, that's the original grass runway.
You're following the footsteps of greatness there.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And what I love about it was the fact that Brooklands was a flight training establishment. Now, when we think of learning to fly, we think of someone who knows what they're doing, teaching us. Of course, in 1907, no one knew how to fly. This is where they figured it out. And there's a great picture actually of one of the aircraft actually buried in the roof, the top story. That's it.
See, now that's...
And you feel that's giving
your best line right there. A little bit more. I got
too high
on top of that. It's getting a little jinky in the end if I take that too tight, but that's all right.
But that's cool. That's the thing, though. Is the nice thing about driving in the wet is you can play with the car on the edge, and that's where you want to be. You want to be just on that point. And to be fair, in the dry, doing it with these cars is actually quite intimidating because they are incredibly grippy cars. Whereas the wet, you actually get a little bit more of a chance to play, to actually really sort of get to know the cars, and it gives you the confidence in the dry that you otherwise normally wouldn't have.
The seats are fantastic too. I have to say that's part of the fun.
I mean, the thing I love about the AMGs is the fact that they do this kind of stuff really, really well. I mean, this is a 1900 kilo car that does a fantastically good job. So it'll do the track stuff. It'll be, I mean, these things, the E's in particular. I mean, this one's got the sport suspension, hence the furry steering wheel. It's got the performance pack on it. But it will do the track stuff. But on the road, it will just be a normal four-door saloon, every day, really easy.
Well, this steering is some of the best.
It's beautiful.
I mean, it's just right where you want it.
One of these would be around about, this spec would be about 82. Right. So the E's are quite expensive. Its little brother, the C, that's about 460 horsepower, but it's lighter, so it's actually same straight line performance. Very, very entertaining. It doesn't have the NCT box, it's got a normal Torque gearbox, but same in a straight line. That's about 51.
Were you playing with the flappy paddles at all?
I didn't know.
You're welcome to try it.
Yeah, I just
forgot about them.
Yeah, I did. I mean, it allowed me to shift down.
Yeah. It will let you do it at any time, but I've put you into manual mode, and that will now give you complete control. The only thing the car won't let you do is damage the engine.
Right.
So if you try to shift
down too much,
it has an overspeed
on the top.
But but if you hit the rev limiter, it's not like a normal auto that will shift. It will stay on the rev limiter. It won't let the car exceed the rev limiter, but it won't shift for you. And it won't let you shift down. So, for example, if you're doing 50 miles an hour and you try to shift to first, it won't do it. But other than that, it gives you very good control, and it also gives you the gear shifting.
It would slightly change your braking, I think, if you had the ability to power down into the turn, and then
definitely.
I'm thinking it might keep the
Tango
back
18
sliding
to
out.
the E63 coming through turn 7 of North. Can we have a flyby, please?
Oh, that's what that was about. I wonder what you're talking about.
Yeah,
earlier.
sorry, we call it a flyby. It's very, very Top Gun.
I'm just sitting here waiting for
That's it.
Okay.
planes
So,
to come over.
that's
Once it's
perfect.
out, give him a blink. Thank you.
Yeah, we're good.
That's Richard Bush.
That's it. And to be honest, most of this twisty section around the back here is second gear. Down the back straight third, fourth. Corner at the end of the straight third, and then back into second. That's pretty much it.
It is incredible that you get this much performance in a way, because my car would have punished me in these conditions,
Yeah.
even with all-wheel drive.
Yeah. I mean, I have to admit, that's the thing with the AMGs is you see we're not really relying on the system. The system's doing minimal work. It's
You
good
can still think
driving.
it's saving, I could,
It's
at least that's what I felt a couple of times. When
we're
my
leaving
car
a
went
lot
down
of
the grass.
mistakes behind us on the road that
Exactly,
otherwise
yeah,
would be noticed.
exactly. I mean,
what
that was
we'll
my
do,
instinct. I mean,
We're just
Okay.
going to pause over by the barrier. We're just going to let the white whatever it is, the black C go past. That's it. And then we'll head on by. We'll carry on behind them. So we're all
Ready to go?
clear, Yep.
nice.
Well, that was quite early into there. And the interesting thing is, obviously they're going not much quicker, but a touch quicker than us, but they're on the wrong part of the track at the wrong time. So too early in for that one. And the thing is that,
One of our crowd, one of yours?
yeah, I think it's one of our crowd, yeah.
All right.
But the thing is, what you've got to try and do though is you've got to start with what we're doing. Because even though we're not quite as quick as them now, give it a bit of practice
Yeah,
and you'll be
you get
quicker.
that much quicker,
And
and then you
that's
go
what
beyond.
matters to me, yeah. And then you can go beyond that. And that's what's more important to me, because they were on the brakes the whole way through that corner, off the brakes and just settling in, beautifully smooth. And we actually took quite a big chunk out of them through that corner, and that's what it's all about. It's really about smoothness. And
that's a little
don't
bumpy.
worry about the pace.
I
'cause
lost
it
half
will-
a second
It will
on
sort
that.
itself
Pace will
out.
come, won't it?
Yeah. And
I
that's
remember
what it's
some
about.
guy coming off after a track day behind me and saying, he was, "You drove me nuts. I could not pass you." And he had a bigger bike than me. He said,
Yeah.
"Just so smooth."
Yeah. And that's
I was
what
really
it's all down
impressed.
to. It's just all about smoothness and
You know what though? I think I'm put the automatic back on again.
Okay.
I think I'm converted to. We just had a big family row about that. We're buying our first Tiptronic automatic car
Right,
right
okay.
now, and I'm a lifelong manual driver, as is my wife.
Yeah.
And we really sort of thought I'd be going over to the dark side, and I'm actually quite chuffed that it's
Good, yeah. What are you looking at buying?
all the different, like the is it the ML 400 kind
Oh,
of
cool.
kind of
Yeah,
series.
I've been impressed with this. I mean, I honestly.
So you can
I don't
downshift
think I
one
could
if
have
you
had
need it, even in
Anytime
automatic
you
mode.
want, you can do it. But what it will do in the auto mode is it will figure out if you decided that you want to stop changing gear, and then it will take over again.
So,
Traffic.
well, I think we're coming up on our,
I was going to
on
say,
our
yeah,
time
we're
thing
pretty
anyway,
there,
so yeah, yeah.
we can head back in. But no, really good job. I think
Well,
that's
thank you. Well, this is really such a nice combination of different driving. It really shows off
Well,
the capability of these. Too bad they don't have one in Paris or even Stuttgart.
well,
for
yeah,
this.
that's the crazy thing. Yeah, it's
And I will
it's-
find the correct
you-
turn signal stock after a while. Sure.
that's it. We'll take a right and we'll head on back. But no, absolutely, it's. I think the nice thing is that you get a chance to look at all the different elements. It helps you develop as a driver, and that's why I love it. It's a teaching environment.
Yeah, it's straight up.
It's straight up, and I'll put the hazards on.
Straight.
It's through the barriers,
Okay.
dead ahead. That's it, and then it's a right in front of the building.
Yeah, he took it around the test track for half an hour, and then he ended up crashing it into the Darling. So we want to go right
That's
there
it.
then?
Yep, take a right. But that's
We get
that.
a ride along. I thought we got you taking us around the track.
Well, I tend to be honest. I mean, I can do that, but
Go on.
you guys have been doing a pretty good job, and